meeting is now being recorded.
Yourself for our viewers who will be watching this, and then go on with the presentation, please.
Okay. There are people who are watching this now.
No, later, sir. They'll be watching it later.
Later.
Yeah.
Okay, I would say myself, Rajiv Jaina from Bajaj Auto. I head the entire manufacturing space in terms of IT deployment, and right now I am presenting our EWMS implementation in new warehouse that we have set it up for handling spare parts or service parts, which we need to supply to our dealers and distributors. A model warehouse located in Aurangabad in Maharashtra, and ideally why that is chosen is that this is central in India. It's very near to Nagpur, and we have plants at Waluj, and also we have a very good vendor cluster at Waluj. So it makes all the sense to have the mother warehouse at Waluj. And we have one plant at Pune, at Chakan, and we have two plants at Waluj, one for motorcycle and one for three-wheeler. The third one also has come up for four-wheeler, that is Cute. And we have one more plant at Pantnagar, Uttarakhand. And all these plants provide items to mother warehouse at Waluj. Plus all vendors also apply parts to Waluj. Next page. Just one second. And apart from domestic, we have a huge global presence. We are supplying spare parts to 99 countries as of now. And you can see these are clustered as Guatemala, Colombia, Peru. They are all called LATAM. Then we have African countries like Egypt, Nigeria. And then we have Middle East like Dubai. Then we have Asian countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Southeast Asia, China. And then we have Russian. But the problem with these countries are that they are so far off from us, and forecasting of spare parts their requirement, stocking them for them needs a different treatment, and it increases the complexity. Typically, now in the page number 5, I am talking about how warehouse fulfills the demand. We have two types of demand. One is dealership demand, and that is distributorship demand. Dealership demands are guided by sell one, buy one principle. That means dealerships, as and when they sell a component or consume a component in workshop, they place an order on us, and we are supposed to fulfill by next 24 hours. And similarly, distributors, they also stock items to fulfill the market requirement, particularly garage mechanics, and they also in turn supply to smaller dealers. So distributor takes an offtake on monthly basis, but he keeps on ordering throughout the month. So at the dealership, the direct customer who is getting supported and serviced through spare parts, at distributorship, which is the mechanic, the retailers who are being serviced through spare parts and distributorship. Page number 7. Let's begin with the challenges that we have. Now, our growth in spare parts business is rapid. It is more than 20 CAGR. We were 400 crores not long ago, and today we are 2,400 crores in 6 years' time. And right now around 60 countries we are supplying, but 99 countries are involved in terms of OE supply. Now as we grew, we had the growth pangs, we had growth issues. These are listed as need for space expansion. There was no vertical utilization of spare parts warehouse. It was not designed for vertical utilizations. And for international business, we needed large quantities, and it took us a long lead time to supply. Domestic also, we have small quantities on daily basis. We had very poor picking efficiency. We have decrease in productivity. We always wanted to solve the solution by increasing the manpower. And our order to dispatch cycle time used to go up and down. And we have a high skewed demands towards the end of the month. Suddenly, almost 40 to 50% of demand come the last week of the month. With this backdrop, warehouse lost its leanness, which used to happen earlier, and it needed a redesign for layout, automation, and process. Now, specific details and challenges. Large number of customers and countries, diverse and evolving market, ineffective scheduling leading to delay in order deliveries, increased inventory and skewed inventory, higher manpower, competition between views like CV, MC, and IB, and there's a need for a new layout, new design, new process with new IT tools if possible. So that was our assessment. Next page is Warehouse was running on a simple inventory management system of SAP, because of which there was no visibility of inventory locations. I don't have to explain this. This is well known to any SAP guy. Lack of visibility of inventory locations, so poor bin visibility. The stocks were kept at various locations and inventory management was done through Excel sheets. If I have got one location fixed for every item, and that location has a small capacity to accommodate, then beyond that capacity, whatever I am receiving, I am keeping it in a different bulk storage location. Unfortunately, in R3 without EWMS, you can't have multiple storage for same item. So we used to maintain an Excel sheet and keep a visibility of those items in the Excel sheet, so that somebody is taking out from bulk location and filling into the peak location, that is to be accounted for. So it had some 20 people doing these things only. Spare constraints, because vertically it is not tall, horizontally it started taking a lot of ideas to incorporate through palletize. Lot of ideas were there to how to grow horizontally but not vertically. So that started occupying other shades. So the new warehouse has had another 2 shades full with spare parts ready for packaging. Then optimization of storage system was not done to increase the volumetric space of the warehouse. Low height and poor racking led to horizontal expansion. Now I am just explaining complex tracking through Excel sheets. Suppose 1200 quantity arrives, we count it, put it in a bin. Suppose bin A is 100, pick locations. Bulk location A is 600, bulk location B 500. So picker goes to pick 1200 items from bin A. System shows 1200 quantity, but only has physically 100 quantities left there. Rest was the bulk location A and B. Sorry for my cough. I will have little trouble. The bulk location, which is shown as purple color, they are in Excel sheet. So he refers to Excel sheet, goes and picks from bulk location and fulfills the picking. Now, entire 1200 has been picked. In system it shows 0 quantity, but only in the bin A. But in Excel sheet also we maintain bulk A and bulk B, also 0 quantity. This was difficult to do with around 30,000 SKUs under operations. Hence we needed an extended warehouse management system to eliminate lack of visibility of inventory and many more pain areas. So these pain areas I have briefly put. One is visibility, lack of visibility of export peak stocks. Now, export orders are typically handled in a lead time of 40 days, 40 to 45 days. So last month's orders are collated and being served through this month. Similarly, this month's order will be served in the next month. Now, because of this, it's a long lead time of picking. And this picking used to happen from the same bin where domestic item is also kept. Now, 2 years ago, we separated them out. At the time of inbound itself, based on certain logic, we started splitting them to keep the export items separately, which is labeled pink labels. But export binning was not done. That is, entire storage location, it was one storage location WEXP, and all export related items are dumped into that storage location without binning. Means people had to keep track physically where they have kept it, so that they will pick and put it into the order. Picking happens in stages. It will be difficult to find where previously picked stock is kept. High dependency on supervisory manpower. Directing pickers when he cannot find a stock at location, unlimited load distribution to pickers, physical inventory verification, all these things needed a lot of supervisory staff. And there was a competition between various SBUs for the same stock. Now, when I have a schedule which has gone to the vendor, he supplies the entire stock to me. The moment stock comes, it is now sellable once I pack it. But once I pack it and it becomes sellable, then we used to make it available as per a logic of allocation. In the logic of allocation, first allocation happened to vehicle off-road, we typically call BOR, orders from domestic. Then next priority is dealer domestic. Third priority is distributor IB. And the fourth priority will be distributor domestic. Now imagine IB, they say, why am I getting third preference? Why not I have separate account and separate stock and I go by my own way? Why you want to give me a third preference from the same stock? Now similarly, distributors. Typically our commercial vehicle penetration to dealer is very poor. Because most of the three-wheelers get serviced at roadside, most of the spare parts are needed at distributors. So distributors, commercial vehicle says, you have put distributors which is consuming 90% of my demand, they are the fourth one to get, I am not very happy. So we have this challenge also. I hope I am making it clear to you. Key management areas to be focused on: the process. To process the increased order line items, more manpower was required. Loss of productivity due to complex tracking of stock through Excel sheets. Reduced value per person. Loss in warehouse throughput. Prone to error due to no validations. These things were plaguing us in the old warehouse. Various constraints that led to the building of new warehouse. No proper storage type of arrangements, ineffective space utilization, Tracking was difficult due to absence of WM system, lack of visibility of location-wide stock, peak efficiency was low and was blind-sighted, susceptible to error. All these things were the reasons why we wanted to move on to a new warehouse and deploy a new warehouse management system. Early improvement exercise. First, we started improvising our planning part. We took SAP service planning, service plot planning, which is typically called SPP, and we introduced these processes called forecasting, safety stock planning, advance schedule to vendors 1 month in advance, and supplying plans, inter-warehouse stock transfer planning, and no manual dependence. So scheduling side was ironed out with SPP, which gave advance visibility to the suppliers 1 month in advance so that they can fulfill our requirement in time. And all that was forecast based. And our forecast accuracy was around 80 to 85% for domestic. And forecast accuracy for actually export is very low, 30%. But we are going by order-based situation, so we just simply take the last month's order as this month's forecast. And SPP actually helped us to do automation in planning and scheduling and became the major backbone for procurement. Earlier, vendors were given schedule on the last day of the previous month for the domestic orders and 3 months in advance for export orders. In 2006, as complexity increased, SAP SPP was implemented, forecasting got improved, planning got improved, domestic order fulfillment vastly improved to 80%. After SPP implementations, vendors were given schedule of 1 month along with tentative schedule for next 3 months in advance. Overall inventory came down to 30 days from more than 90 days. Exports orders were not handled well by SAP SPP as forecast was poor. However, warehouse operations did not improve. Service level improved from 40% to 75% and remained plateaued there. But that was not enough. Manpower productivity for picking and packing did not improve. It was hovering around 10 lakhs per person per month, which is very poor. So KPIs were like outbound deliveries per day 325, order lines on an average 12,000 and during peak it was 24,000. Order lines per person per day only 20, manpower about 1100, first peak ratio was about 88%, delivery service ratio was 84%. I will explain what is delivery service ratio. Delivery service ratio is between order to delivery creation. We lose out certain items based on lack of availability. So delivery service ratio is like covering how much of order I am covering in one go. Lead time, exports in days, almost 45 days to 60 days. Inventory terms was 1 per month. Certain top of mind to improve. Why to have common stock for domestic and export? Why can't we split them at the receipt to proportionately stock them for their respective fulfillment? How to have bin visibility for every business, every locations of the stocks? Why can't we stock same item in different units? We can actually keep them in small units of each or pack them to case units. In each case there could be some defined number of items so that distributors typically demand in very high quantities. So handling units can come down if you convert it into case quantities. And why can't we pick same item for different orders together and then sort them out as per order? That means two-step picking. That means my pick efficiency can improve if I combine orders for picking and then sort them out order-wise. Why can't we stop the motion loss of pickers and make conveyor-based picking just like mass assembly line? So that is like pick to light. Why not I can have conveyor-based picking and the people are kept in one cages, they don't have to run around a lot, but the conveyor keeps coming so that, they have to just pick the right item, put it into the stoke, totes. Why can't we get items in pre-packed conditions except for MRP leveling and then do straight cross-stocking to the order? These are the few thoughts in the mind before we started designing the new warehouse. So we thought of new design and layout for the new warehouse, re-engineer the process inside and outside the warehouse, including supply chain, design the handling units, procure proper MHEs, and design the level of automation needed for higher space utilization, lower manpower, and and faster throughput for optimized cost benefit. Now, once we designed the layout, we designed the storage by doing the classification of items, and we did the slotting into 6 categories, or overall 7 categories. One is volume based, volume A, volume B, volume C. Another is pick based, fast, medium, slow, and super slow. Now, I have 3 into 6, 18 metrics to slot a particular item. Now, when we keep randomly, my picking legwork increases, and but if I put them in an orderly manner, similar type of item at same racks, at same positions, then I can actually direct my pickers accordingly. I can do my picking as per the picking volume. So various kind of picking schemes can be done if you don't do proper slotting and storage of beans accordingly. So that's the first part. And once you have the slotting done, then you can have various kinds of MHEs that can do the appropriate storing of items. For fast moving, typically picking activity high and picking activity low, storage requirements can be different. High picking activity, we can get into ASRS kind of stuff, and or pick to light. We have gone for pick to light. If your shelving is low, then pick to light. If your shelving is high, then you can go for ASRS. But in our case, ASRS was not making any sense because of the cost factor. So we have gone for pick to light. And when picking activity is comparatively low, I can have high shelving and low shelving. So old warehouse was low shelving, new warehouse is high shelving. It is ground plus 6. And ground locations are fixed locations, and plus 6 locations are with random locations. Next page. We have divided the warehouse processes into 2 groups, inbound and outbound. In inbound, we have goods receipts, stock allocations, pre-packing, put away, and replenishment. In outbound, we have wave creation, picking, sorting, packing, and billing. Now, in inbound, first, as a process, we create an inbound order for every invoice that vendor sends us, and it is typically through net. So ASN is created, and invoice has got lot size mandatoriness. So every invoice is as a multiple of lots it is created. ASN happens. We have automated entry, get entry. It validates a lot of parameters before it allows to come in. There is a dock assignment in the system, and there is a quantity counting that we do through weighing machine. Weighing machine is integrated to SAP backend. So based on one packet weighing, we calculate the number of quantities that is unloaded. These are fed into R3. Also, goods receipts happens in WMS and then gets fed to R3. Then we have, after that, a staging operations where we are actually packing where we are keeping the lots. So whole idea of staging is that at what stage the lot is available to take up for pre-packing. And we don't allow a particular item to age more than 5 days. In case certain items are very slow moving and they are being kept aside in the staging area, but we have a report through which we track the pending activities, and the old ones also get priorities. Then comes stock allocations. Why to keep stock for fulfillment of both domestic and exports? So why not we split them? So we have a program which splits based on certain criteria between domestic and export. So export items goes to export random locations and export fixed locations, and similar domestic item goes to domestic bulk quantities and domestic fixed locations. So this split happens at pre-packing area. I'm in page number 33. You can see that there is a place called pre-packing where we do labeling, where we do packaging, and labelings are pink labels for export, yellow labels for domestic, and we also do a substantial white labeling if there are no back orders or no forecast, or already have fulfilled the forecast for that month. Over and above that, if I am receiving something, then I don't neither put pink nor put yellow, put a black and white sticker which is not sellable, and then whenever I need to replenish for order picking, then I replenish from the white. If it's a replenishment for pink, it goes to pink.
Sir, keeping in mind the time, I think you have to catch a flight as well. So I think we can skip to the last slide, and just some closing comments on this project would be fine.
Okay, so I'll quickly do one thing.
Yeah.
I'll go a little faster now, but quickly. So this is the pre-packing area where we do the labeling. In the pre-packing, in the next page, we are showing how we are avoiding a lot of pre-packing now. We are making the pre-packing at vendor's place and only labeling now, so that a lot of packaging material we are saving. Then we are doing put away. Put away is done through new handling equipment with guided visibility. So you can see tall rise locations where we put those items, random locations, and benefits are that we can utilize the space much better. Plus, we are putting in such a way that it is nearer to the fixed location where the peak face is at the ground and the random location is on the top. So we typically try to see that it is nearer to the peak face. And this is done through, you can see the pictures in the page number 38. This is done through scanning. And while we are actually doing a put away, we are just randomly not putting in empty spaces. We are putting, if there are headroom available in the current space, we are adding to the stock rather than proliferating the number of locations. And then we do the replenishment as an order-based replenishment plus time-based replenishment. Then comes next outbound picking. So we have a efficient picking process, and it's a wave-based picking. So we run waves so that each wave takes the orders and processes them and creates the pick tags for the pickers to pick. So we have 3 types of picking. One is first is wave creation. I'm showing how in the page number 44 how the entire orders are slotted into the smaller circles are waves, and because of that the fluctuations are brought down, and each wave has got MOCP picking, that is multi-order case picking, pick to light picking, sort by light picking, BOR order picking, and export order picking. So every super wave this kind of smaller waves will be there. Multi-order case picking is meant for picking the case items, which I have explained earlier for the distributors typically. Pick to light is very fast picking of dealer items. SBL is two-step picking, where I pick from the fixed locations, which is not pick to light, but I pick multi-order at one time and then sort it by light. So MOCP, PTL, SBL cover 99% of my entire order. Only 1% goes to VOR as far as domestic is concerned. Export is a separate setup. And typically dealer order and distributor orders are smaller quantities and number of counts are high. Distributor orders are higher quantities and number of lines are low. We have an algorithm so that my waves, between two waves, loads are same. The picking, we do single order picking versus two-step picking. Two-step picking is more efficient. Single order picking is efficient in case of pick to light, but two-step picking is efficient and through SBL. And MOCP is also a two-step picking, but we in one step we combine the orders, pick the entire item, then split them into order through level printing. You can see that, and it is an innovation that we have done for mostly distributor orders. Two-step picking for sort by light is also shown, and there is a animation which in the page number 52 that can be seen. And pick to light is one-step picking, but it's a very fast moving conveyorized picking, so it helps the throughput. So many of fast-moving items are kept, and fast-moving and small items are kept for PTL. Pick to light process is explained in 54. And then we have this, finally we have a conveyor which does the sorting for packaging purpose. So whatever is picked in the pick to light, they come and get sorted into various lanes. There are 8 or 9 lanes. There are people available. So this sorting is done order wise, and for each order those stores come down. So and for order wise you can do the packaging. So once packaging is done, it is put back to the conveyor for sorting, for picking purpose, picking for transporters. So transporter wise lane is also available where we can sort them to a given transporter. So, and then we also provide a visibility report for each order, where it is lying, in which wave it is lying, MOCP or SBL or PTL, so that any box which is by chance left out somewhere, it's also traced back before it is put onto the truck. And similarly, for export, it is done through a order picking, which is picked and put into a large container box, and it is done over a period of a week before it is put to a container. This is a warehouse, and these are the various at page 61 various specifications of the warehouse. So we have made a smart warehouse now, because of which it's Wi-Fi enabled. It's very flexible, high throughput, and it used to two systems. One is EWMS from SAP and Exacta from Bastion Solutions. Exacta Solutions are the one which is making pick to light and sort by light and sorting conveyor. They are all run through the Bastion software. What we have achieved so far is we are inbound integrated to ASN, VAS order creation for splitting, pre-packing. We have got nested HUs. We have negative stock implementation. Negative stock implementation is a concept where we do replenishment and then do the picking. Yeah, and we have those MOCP, SBL, PTL, and sorting conveyor. So the last slide 66 gives the kind of improvement in the KPI that we have achieved so far. And we are now tracking the KPIs through API, which is ClickView. And the kind of KPIs that we are tracking is shown there, which is operational as well as strategic. So that's the last one. Is it okay? Hello?
Yeah, thanks a lot, sir.
Hello?
Thank you for... Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.